I don't get a chance to look at myself very often. I just wake up and go to town. Hey, you guys, this is Rick. You know, you didn't get away from me. I've just been busy, you know. And I hate being away from y'all. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, like being like some kind of teacher, you know. And I know a lot of people don't like to do homework, and so, you know, I don't mind doing it, you know, for the first time in my life. I don't mind at all. But what I, you know, if you're new, if this is your first time to this, what I've been trying, what I do, my name is Rick Worth. I'm a local artist down here in Key West, Florida. But you know, and unbeknownst to a lot of my friends and people that I know around here, do I know how to read the Bible and see past the veil, which we call, you know, looking past the parable, or what we call the word or the letter, and then and actually reading it by what they call the Spirit. And in the text in the Bible itself, it talks of this. It speaks of the Apostle Paul, which is you know, one of the alleged writers of the book, winds up being he's telling us that being ministers of the New Testament, that we are ministers of the New Testament by the Spirit and not the letter. He says, because the Spirit giveth life, and the letter taketh it away. It killeth, as they actually says, the word is to killeth. And whenever we're working with the Bible, we find that it's really only talking about two ways of doing something. You can serve me the right way, or everything else is wrong. So it's basically what it works. And what I try to do as you know, a follower of this way is to teach it as perhaps Jesus would have taught it if he were real, because we've found out through many other readings, and you can look back in the past, where we found out the lineage of Jesus actually is talking about you know. And that all of these people in the stories, your brothers and sisters, you know, the kings and queens and servants and maidservants and all of these are different facets of you know, divided under the guise of the left side of the brain and the right side when it is provoked. All right, so anyways, aside from all of that, being able to read the Bible and show you that what is underneath all religion is the same situation, the same information. It's about clearing the mind and having a mind that's actually under a control or a leash, so to speak, of a higher conscious. Whereas if you don't do this, your mind is wild beast. No matter what range of beast you are, you know, I know many people that go from, you know, not much of a beast to some raging absolute monsters, you know. And so what you would find out is that the under the text is telling you how to get over this anger, how to get away from this hell. And the top of the text is telling you how to get into it, you know, if you think about it. And the inside, so you've got a solid, the letter is what you see, and the Spirit is what you don't see. But you'll find that the Spirit is really a system of listening and seeing and believing, or understanding. Not believing is understanding. Believing is, you know, is up to you whether or not you want to believe this stuff. But what I try to say is, you know, it's in the Old Testament, it's in the New Testament, it's in the Quran, you know, it's in the Krishna writings. Krishna and Christ wind up being the same energy. They don't have to be the same person, because they're you. They're both you. And what I want to break into today is that, you know, I'm painting over here. I'm always painting. You know, point over here because this is where I paint. And I haven't showed you any of that. So one of these times I think I'm going to sit there, I'm going to listen, I'm going to point this on me while I'm painting, and we'll listen to some of this Buddhist stuff. Because all I did was, this is what I listened to from while I'm painting. I'm almost 2 hours in on it. And I want to tell you that the way the Bible is written, our Bible is written, and it's in that number system, that 1 through 9, all right? It actually could go maybe to like 10 or 11, but I'm telling you, when you get into those, it's really a doubling up. So 11 means 2, and 3, 12 means 3. So, as you keep going on, you'll find that each one of those means something, and if you knew just that, what the 1 means and what the 2 means and the 3, and then you lend an ear to it, you'll understand that they're talking about the chakra system, they're talking about raising yourself, they're talking about this happens if you live out of this side of your mind, this happens if you live out of this side of your mind. And listen, the Buddhist teachings, they have, right now I'm on like 19, something like that. They all come with different titles, but their numbers keep going. There's no stopping as they go. But when they get between something, they'll say, this is about anger, all right? And then it'll be about your skin. It'll be, these numbers like 1 will be initiation. So there's all this beautiful, wonderful things. And then there'll be 2. And when 2 comes in, it'll be chapter 2. All of that they talk about in chapter 2 has to do with the body and the person itself. You can sit in there and listen to it. And then 3, when 3 comes on, chapter 3, all of what Buddha is talking about is in chapter 3, about the number 3, when they're all put together. If we're all together, this is what happens, because this is what happens when all 3 are together. And all the stories and everything that Buddha says is that we've just combined with the higher spirit, and a good thing has happened. And this is what we do. If you can turn on the Buddhist things, get that little list out. Remember, 1, the first thing, the initiative is the first. You'll hear a whole mess of initiatives. And God, the maker of all, or you, talking about the person 1. 2 is actually us. 2 is the God's creation. You would find that a lot of the things in number 2 is going to be about bringing 2 things together to make 1 out of, all right? And 3 is how you make that 1. It's when all 3 of these guys are together. And then 4 becomes the worlds, and so everything in chapter 4, when you're listening to the wisdom of Buddha, is about the world. This is the kind of world that you're going to get if you live by the left side. And it'll say, and this is what you do if you're on the right side. So you'll always see this little play going on. You get to chapter 6, when you're up there on the top of the ladder, and you can go this way, or the even shows up in all of these stories. The name even shows up in this around 6. All right, when you get up there, and 7 becomes chapter 7. All chapter 7 is he who did this winds up with that, and he's greatly increased, and or that's 8. 8 actually is all about the increase, but 7 is like where the change is happening. The one where the man who changes his mind, the man who uses his mind to change his mind, and his deaths and things like that of the skin. It's just amazing. Chapter 5, when it talks about the skin, they talk about the good skin, they talk about the bad skin, they talk about the good skin, they talk about the bad skin. Just lend an ear to that. It won't take you very long. You'll find that they all are saying the same thing. This age of enlightenment that we all came through back in Pisces, the age of Pisces. And that's where we just came from, right? Is that where we came from the age of Pisces? This is all through that time is where beautiful things were being brought into life. But, the dumb public decided to take the top side of things and not take the inner side of stuff. And Buddhism winds up right now they're calling it a religion. All right. If they do that, then they're looking at the top of things. When he clearly is, when this Buddha, which he calls you, when you're listening to it, you can hear that, I am Buddha, When you get there, I'm Buddha now. I'm a Buddhist. I think that's what you would wind up being, if you don't know what to call yourself. If someone would say, what are you? You say, I'm a born-again Buddhist. Just say that. And that'll be fine. But like when we did the readings of Pentecost not very long ago in Acts 2, it was all about the 50th. It's all about 5. The whole thing was about the skin. So that's how the Buddhist was all things in 5 was all about the skin. It was all about the skin. And in that story, Pentecost, Jesus comes to us, the second coming. You'll see me, I'll be coming in the air, you'll see me up in the clouds. So, of course, this is about Pentecost is bringing God into you. It's that, it's making it into the space where Jesus is entering the room like a rush of mighty wind. And then little flames of fire above the head, This is the second and third phase of consciousness. These are 2 things that you have to have, and because of that, the new wine is the new mind. The body becomes the new wineskin. They don't talk about the wineskin, but everyone talks about them being drunk off the new wine. It's just so beautiful. So you read, you can tell that's how these stories are written, and they're all the same. From Buddhism on down, all of these beautiful stories. And this one here, this when you talk about consciousness, when you talk about the number system and find that the Greeks are doing it, and that the Indians were doing it, and look here, look at that, the Buddhists, everyone, they're all saying and doing the same thing, and all of it is talking about he who comes home and cleans house. He who makes this connection inside of them is going to be greatly increased. And, we're supposed to have something really nice, but it talks about very few people do it. Very few people do it. But I think at least through help, I want to help. I want to help you guys do this. We need more help out there in the world. I'm going to go back to painting. I'm ordered a pizza. It's around 9. And maybe tomorrow we'll listen to Buddha. I'll listen to Buddha and paint. And we can talk at the same time. You'll be looking at the back of my head when I'm doing that. But anyways, just want you to say, there's a lesson. Go in and call up Buddhist, the Buddhist teachings, the wisdom of teaching, and it starts off with 1, and I want you to listen to that. Put that, write down the story, or write down the idea, or have an ear out for what they're going to be talking about. And it's through his words that we'll learn what the tree means and what it means to be grass growing and stuff like that, because it's really beautiful. There's wisdom in that. And if you can hear it, you're just as blessed, all right? And teach someone else how to do this. That's what he says. You got to teach other people. And you know what? After listening to the first part, I may have to stop cussing. Because, they says that cuss words and stuff like that, even if they don't bother me, they do bother other people. And it's just useless to bring that into anything, whether these people are idiots or what. But, listen, it's humbled me in some ways. I mean, I'm just grateful that I still made this connection with my mouth being the way it is, and I just felt like that gave it the power to not have to change. But I we'll see We'll see. Because like with all habits, you want to start off with the easy ones first. Those that you can obtain first. All right, so best to you guys, and try it out. Try this out, and let me know if you do it. Let me know. Let me know if any of this stuff is working for you. Shit. All right. Happy days.